This is a world where money has no value, no value. Time is everything here. If you want to buy something here, you exchange that thing for some time of your life. You will have to pay. Only then will you buy that thing. But there is a better side in this world. You have time to live your life. It is also necessary because here, when someone's age reaches 25 years, that person has 1 year's time on his hands. The moment the countdown becomes 0, that person is finished. There were people who had so much time that they could have lived 1,000 years. The rich had a separate world created for them, where those people were leading a comfortable life. But on the other hand, those living in the ghetto city, poor people, worked hard day and night to make a living for themselves. They earned their time, otherwise their lives would be over. In this slum of the poor, there lived a boy named Will, in whose watch only 23 hours remained. Will was living with his mom. Now after 25 years, age stops. That's why his mother, even though she was 50, looked very young. Today was Will's mother's 50th birthday. Will was with his mom to celebrate her birthday. He had worked overtime last night and brought a bottle of champagne. Will's mom was very happy to see this, and she told Will, "I want to see my grandchildren. You're dating a girl. Why don't you date her?" To this, Will replied, "Who has time for all these things?" Will's mom told him that the electricity bill and bank loan had to be cleared by tomorrow. Otherwise, they could be fined. "That's why now I'm going to go and pay all the bills and deposit the bank loans," she said. "I only have 3 days left. The electricity bill and bank loan will spend almost all my time repaying. That's why tomorrow evening you must be waiting for me at the bus stop, so that before all my time runs out I can tell you something." Will said, "Okay. I'll be on time." Before leaving, Will's mother touched Will's hand and transferred 30 minutes into his body so that Will could buy a good breakfast and eat it. Both of them then left for their work. A little girl comes to Will. She gives Will a capsule and asks him to take a little of it. Will smiles at her and asks for her time. The little girl gives her life in a capsule. She gives him 5 minutes, and she leaves. Here we learn that these people can also store time in a capsule so that they can use and transfer it. After this, Will arrives at the factory to work. Work begins. Before he does, he goes to get some coffee. But there he sees that the price of everything has doubled. Where before, coffee would take 2 minutes. Now its price doubles to 4 minutes. There's never any question of anything here. The prices increased without any reason. Will was very upset by the announcement. Still, Will had coffee under duress and spent 4 minutes of his life. But he did it. After a long day's work, at night Will was at a bar with his friend. Will's friend was a #1 alcoholic. He was always drunk. Will's friend signaled to Will, "That man is giving free liquor to everyone, and he has a lot of time." Will looked at the man when he heard it. He was surrounded by girls. Will glanced at the man's watch. That man had 116 years of time. Seeing this, Will understands that this man is Greenwich. He's from the city because people in the ghetto city have a maximum of 2 days. Will came to the man and told him, "Vern started saying that you don't belong here. It's risky here. Thieves steal your time by killing you. They'll take it. So get out of here, quickly." But the man didn't take Will's words seriously. He ignored him and went back to drink. That's when the name Fortis appears in that bar. A gangster from the city came with his group. Seeing this, all the people ran out. Actually, he is the biggest goon of the city who forcibly steals time from people. Will's friend grabbed Will and started taking him away. But Will refused to go and hid in a corner, watching everything. Fortis came to rob the rich man of all his time. He challenged him to a fist fight, and the one who loses will spend all his time with the winner. It's time to fight. Arm wrestling, a way in which 2 people had to face each other, holding each other's wrists. When one wrist went down, the time started decreasing, and that time transferred into the hands of the man whose wrist stayed up. The winning person would take all the other's time, killing him by storing it in his own body. Fortis told the man, "Are you ready for this?" That rich man said, "I drank too much, so I need some time. Then I'm up for your challenge." "I'm ready," Fortis said. "Okay, that's it. Your last wish. Go, I'll give you a few minutes to get ready." Fortis then sent one of his men with him, so the rich man couldn't escape. The man went to the bathroom and started vomiting profusely because he was quite drunk. If he had fought Fortis in this condition, his defeat was certain. Then Will arrived. He killed Fortis's man, took the rich man out of that place, rescued him from Fortis, and took him to a safe place. Will said to the rich man, "I even told you that your life is in danger. Why do you deliberately waste your time?" The man told Will his name was Henry, and he asked Will, "How old are you?" Will said, 28 years. Henry said, "I'm 105 years old, and now I'm tired of life. I've enjoyed everything in my life, and now I don't need this life. I don't want to live." Hearing this, Will asked in surprise, "What do you mean?" To this, Henry said, "It seems you are still unaware of the truth. Have you ever thought why there are different time zones in this world? Why are prices and taxes in your time zone gates always increased? In fact, inflation is deliberately raised so that poor people continue to die and their deaths are celebrated, while rich people in the Greenwich time zone keep benefiting. In fact, this entire system is for them. Just think about it. People living near Greenwich have thousands of years, but here at the gates, you people work hard every day just to survive. Yes, that's because they forced you to do this. They could have given you more time, but they don't want you to stop working for them. They increase inflation to make you spend more of your time, forcing you to do it so their time may live forever. Every day of your life, the poor die. And I live such a life that I don't even want to live. A poor person's death keeps this system alive." Hearing this, Will understood that Henry was a very noble-hearted man. Henry asked Will further, "If you had as much time as I do, what would you do?" Will said with a smile, "First of all, I'd stop looking at the time again and again, because even then, Will only had 18 hours left. Before going to bed and even while eating, he always kept looking at his watch, because he was scared his time might run out and he'd die." Will said, "My mom is working too hard to handle everything. If only I had as much time as you, I'd buy my mom a nice house in Greenwich City, and we'd both live happily there." Will then told Henry, "Tonight we must stay here. The danger will be over by morning. Then you can go back home." After this, they both fell asleep. In the morning, Henry woke up. He saw that Will was still asleep. He came to him and transferred all of his time into Will's hands, saving just a few minutes for himself. He then went and sat on top of a bridge. When Will woke up, he saw that Henry wasn't there. As usual, he woke up from sleep, looked at his watch, and saw that 116 years had been added to it. His eyes went wide open when he saw this. He thought he was still asleep and dreaming. Meanwhile, Will noticed something written on the window. "My time. Don't ruin it." He understood that Henry had given him all his time. Will found Henry far away on the side of a bridge. Will quickly ran to Henry, but it was too late, because Henry only had a few seconds left. A moment later, he died from the shock and fell from the bridge into the water below. Will was deeply saddened by Henry's death. Now Will had 116 years of life, and he understood that if he stayed here, people would think that he killed Henry. Will quickly found his friend. His friend was shocked to see so much time on Will's hand. After that, Will's friend looked at him, and Will thanked him heartily. Will said, "It's not right for me to stay here, because with so much time, anyone watching could kill me to take it. Now I'll fight for my mother, buy a nice house in Greenwich City, and live a safe life there." After this, Will said goodbye to his friend and left the place. He went straight to the bus stop and waited for his mom. The same place where 2 days ago, his mom told him that after paying the electricity and bank loans, she'd be there. Will's mom, on the other hand, had paid all the loans and bills and was just about to return home. But then she realized that in just 1 day, the bus ticket prices had doubled. Earlier, where the ticket used to cost 1 hour, now the price had gone up to 2 hours. Seeing this, Will's mom gets very upset because Will's mom only has an hour and a half left. Will's mom requests the bus driver, saying, "Please drop me off at the next stop. My son will give you the rest of the time." But the driver flatly refuses and says, "If you don't have time, then go on foot." But Will's mom knew the next bus stop was too far away. Even if she walked, it would take her 2 hours to reach there. There were a lot of passengers in the bus at that time. Will's mom requested them too, but no one helped her. The bus left. Will's mom. Rachel didn't have much time left, so she started running towards home on foot. On the other hand, Will was bringing flowers for his mother, waiting for her at the bus stop with a bouquet of flowers, because today he had to meet his mother to celebrate her birthday. Just as the bus reached that stop, many passengers got off, but Will's mom was not among them. He got upset seeing this, and he understood something was wrong. He thought his mother must be in trouble, so he ran in search of her. Meanwhile, Rachel had only a few minutes left. She was banging on doors of houses and vehicles, asking people to lend her some time, but no one was ready to help. When Will went a little farther, he saw his mother running. Seeing his mom running, Will understood that she didn't have much time left. He ran toward her with his hands outstretched. Rachel, meanwhile, had only 10 seconds left. She, too, was running at full speed toward her son, Will. But just as Rachel reached her son, her time ran out, and she died. Seeing this, Will was deeply heartbroken. He cried loudly because he had planned so much for his mother. He cried until the next morning. Henry's dead body was found by the timekeepers. In this world, the timekeepers were like police. Their job was to prevent crimes. Raymond, the officer of the timekeepers, thoroughly checked the place, but he couldn't find any clues. Then Raymond went to look at the CCTV camera installed near the bridge. He went to the CCTV room to check the footage. On the other side, Will understood that after his mom's death, only the rich people living in Greenwich, the ones who created Ghetto City, had made poor people dependent on every second of their lives. Now, Will set out toward Greenwich to seek revenge. He left, and this is where the real story begins. To enter Greenwich City, Will had to spend a year of his time, and he finally reached Greenwich City. When Will saw the lifestyle of rich people there, his eyes widened in shock. People there had so much time that they didn't even think about dying. Even the bodyguards of the rich people had more than 100 years of time. Seeing this, Will turned red with anger, and because in the city he came from, people had only 24 hours to live. Will stayed at an expensive hotel there. A very beautiful girl eating food looked at Will as if she had a crush on him. On the other side, timekeeper Raymond was checking the CCTV footage of Henry's death. Then he saw Will in the footage. Although the camera showed Henry falling from the bridge in that footage, Will was also seen standing near the bridge, which made Raymond suspicious of Will. Raymond told his team about Will and asked them to collect information on him. During the investigation, the timekeepers discovered that a man named Will had spent a large amount of time to enter Greenwich City, which confirmed Raymond's suspicion. Will is believed to have killed Henry. At the same time, Raymond, along with his team, visits the city of Greenwich. On the other side, in the town of Greenwich in 1975, Will comes across a casino where some rich people are playing poker. Will sits with them. Seeing a new man at the table, they all start laughing. But Will is an expert in gambling. Today, he had the best chance to win money from the rich and get out. Will plays poker with a rich man named Philip. Philip is the richest man there. He owns a time bank and gives people time on loan. Philip's daughter is also sitting with him, the same girl who had been watching Will intently earlier. When the game starts, Will puts his entire life at stake, and thanks to his sharp mind, he wins against Philip. Philip sees this, and his daughter Sylvia becomes deeply impressed by Will. She invites Will to a party at her house the next evening. The next evening, Will buys a brand new car for Philip and goes to the party. At the party, Will and Sylvia start dancing, and in her heart, Sylvia falls in love with Will. She's just about to confess her feelings to him when suddenly timekeeper Raymond arrives there with his team. He captures Will. Sylvia, thinking Will is the murderer, also confronts him. Raymond attacks Will first. He takes away all of Will's time and leaves him with only 2 hours. He then gives Will Henry's time and asks, "Why did you kill Henry?" Will replies, "I didn't kill him. He didn't want to live anymore. He gave me 116 years, and later he took his own life. But Raymond doesn't believe him. Will realizes that Raymond is trying to frame him for Henry's death, that he'll be imprisoned for life. So Will seizes the moment, overpowers Raymond's men, takes his gun, and captures Sylvia as a hostage. Using Sylvia as a shield, Will escapes from Raymond and his men and drives back toward Ghetto City. During this time, Will has very little time left. He asks Sylvia to lend him some time, but she refuses. She still believes he's Henry's killer. Will drives the car quickly toward Ghetto City, hoping to borrow time from someone once he arrives. But in his haste, he doesn't notice the barbed wire on the road. The car crashes into it, and Will's car falls off the bridge. Both Will and Sylvia are thrown unconscious in the accident. Actually, that fork in the road was a trap set by Fortis and his gang. They find Sylvia, notice that she has 10 years of time, and steal all of it before leaving. Meanwhile, Will and Sylvia regain consciousness. When Sylvia looks at her hand, she panics. She has only 30 minutes left. Will also has just a few minutes remaining. Still, he gives Sylvia a few minutes of his own time so that both of them have equal time left. After this, Will quickly takes Sylvia to his friend's house, the one to whom he had once given 10 years. When his friend's wife opens the door and sees Will, she becomes angry. She says bitterly, "The 10 years you gave us took my husband's life. He wasted all his time drinking, and he died." Will is heartbroken to hear this, but now both he and Sylvia have very little time left. If they don't act fast, their death is certain. Then Will notices the earrings in Sylvia's ears. They sell the earrings and get 2 days' worth of time. After that, Will takes Sylvia to a phone booth and calls her father, Philip. He tells him that his daughter is still safe. Raymond is also present with Philip at that time, and Will knows it. After hanging up, Will makes a demand. He wants 10,000 years of time in exchange for Sylvia's return. He tells Philip to distribute those 10,000 years among the poor through the time bank and to give him the time by the next morning. But for Philip, that amount is nothing, and he has no intention of giving his time to the poor. He refuses to negotiate and doesn't give Will any time. Will brings Sylvia to his place, and both of them wait for the morning to come. During that time, Sylvia asks, "Where's your family?" Will replies, "Last night. My mother died because she ran out of time." Hearing this, Sylvia feels deeply sorry. She realizes how the poor live in constant fear of death, working tirelessly each day just to earn enough time to stay alive. The next morning, Will and Sylvia look out the window as the time bank opens. They start watching it closely. But the bank doesn't share any time with the poor. Sylvia is heartbroken to see that her father values time more than people. That for him, even his own daughter has no worth. Now Sylvia understands that her father isn't just a businessman. He's the very head of this cruel system, a man who gains years of life from the deaths of the poor. Seeing Sylvia so dejected, Will decides to send her back home. He brings her to a phone booth and calls her father. Called and asked for help. During this, Will also gives Sylvia a weapon so that she can protect herself. Here, Sylvia is talking to her father on the phone. Just then, the timekeeper Raymond secretly arrived there and pointed a gun at Will. Raymond was about to fire at Will when Sylvia saw Raymond, and in panic, Raymond got scared and accidentally shot. However, the bullet landed in Raymond's hand. The bullet had just grazed his hand and passed by. There was blood coming out. Will looked at Raymond's watch. Raymond had only 2 hours left. In fact, timekeepers also get salaries. They only get 1 day added each day. Will understood that by the time Raymond's team arrived, Raymond might lose too much blood. He could have died from bleeding. So Will gave Raymond 2 hours, took Raymond's car, and left. Raymond was shot, and now Sylvia was too. She had already been listed as a criminal. However, Will told Sylvia that she was still free from all this. But Sylvia, in Greenwich, lived a life like a bird trapped in a cage. Her father, Philip, had put a lot of pressure on her. Many restrictions were imposed. But after coming here, she felt a sense of freedom, because here she was the master of her own will, and Sylvia understood that wrong things were happening to people here. Now she too was helping Will in giving the poor their rights. Will and Sylvia together began robbing the rich. Sylvia, being from Greenwich City, was aware of every inch of the place. So both of them planned to move to Greenwich City, steal time capsules from banks, and distribute them among the poor. Sylvia had previously robbed several banks owned by her father, Philip, because Philip had collected all that time by exploiting the poor before his death. Both of them took all the time capsules from the safe together, packed the bags, and left the place. They began distributing them among the poor. After the stealing, now the government also started taking action against these two. A 10-year time bounty was placed on their heads. Upon hearing the news, gangster Fortis started searching for them like a dog. But Will and Sylvia changed their location every day so that they wouldn't fall into anyone's hands. Both of them were hiding in a hotel. They had no time constraints, so they had booked the entire hotel. Fortis was looking for both of them in that hotel. He came out and saw some people there, caught them, and started asking about Will and Sylvia. But those people were very grateful to Sylvia. So these people were ready to die rather than reveal Will and Sylvia's whereabouts. But when Fortis used too much force, one of the men, fearing death, told Fortis about the hotel where Will and Sylvia were hiding. After that, Fortis immediately reached there with his gang and caught them both. Now, for Will and Sylvia, it was impossible to escape. Fortis sat Will down at a table and challenged him to a time fight. Will understood that if he refused the challenge, Fortis's gang would catch and kill him. So why not take the challenge and try his luck today? Fortis and Will grabbed each other's wrists, and the game of death began. Fortis was a skilled player. Will's hand was pushed down at the very beginning, which started transferring Will's time into Fortis's clock faster. But Will was completely calm. He wasn't panicking, as if he was waiting deliberately. But as soon as Will had only 3 to 4 seconds left in his life, Will suddenly showed his power and, in one swift move, defeated Fortis and pushed his hand down. Fortis's eyes widened in shock. He tried his best to open his eyes. He was trying to raise his hand, but he had become weak in front of Will's strength. Seeing this, the attention of Fortis's men was drawn towards Fortis's watch. Now their boss was about to die. Just then, Will took the opportunity, pulled a gun from his shoe, and in the blink of an eye shot all of Fortis's men, because if he hadn't, those men would have killed him. Meanwhile, Fortis's time reached 0, and he was killed too. Will and Sylvia quickly ran away from there. During this time, they saw that the rich had turned the whole game upside down. Will and Sylvia had distributed time among the poor, but now that time had lost its value, because the rich had multiplied the rate of inflation. Seeing this, Will felt defeated, and he felt that he would never be able to help these poor people, never be able to give them their rights. He told Sylvia that everything was over now. Even if they distributed 1,000 years among the people, the rich would increase inflation even more, and the condition of the poor would never improve. Sylvia said there must be a way. But Will said that by stealing millions of years, they would have to give that time to the people. Only then could inflation be controlled. However, it wasn't that easy. But Sylvia had a plan in mind for this. In the morning, when Philip arrived at his office with his bodyguards, Sylvia came there and told her father that she wanted to surrender. Then all the guards pointed their guns at Sylvia. But from behind appeared Will, who had been hiding in the basement. He held a gun to Philip's head and opened the locker. Will and Sylvia opened the locker door and stole a time capsule from Philip's locker, in which the time of 1 million years was stored. Each year of this time capsule was dedicated to the poor. They escaped from there with the time capsule. When Raymond came to know about this, he immediately started following Will and Sylvia. When Raymond looked at the watch on his wrist, he saw less than an hour remaining. He called his quarters and said, "I need my salary capsule sent immediately. I'm running out of time." But before he could transfer time from the capsule into his body, he saw Will's car and ran out of the capsule, transferring time into his body as he went. He began chasing them, because if the poor had received 1 million years, then everyone in the zone would become immortal and rich. The entire system he had created would have been destroyed. Raymond set out to capture Will and Sylvia. He gave his whole life for it, but he couldn't stop them. Will and Sylvia, having tricked Raymond, reached the town of Ghetto and handed the time capsule to a little girl. They knew Raymond would come straight to Ghetto City behind them, so they left that place and went to a secluded area. There, they met the people of Ghetto Town. Those people became immortal by sharing millions of years. But Will and Sylvia now had very little time left. Unfortunately, at that very moment, Raymond caught them. Raymond caught Will and threatened him, saying, "If you value your life, then return all the stolen time." Then Will showed him his watch. Only a few minutes were left for both Will and Sylvia. Will said to Raymond, "Have you forgotten? Do you remember when you were about to die and I gave you some time? I lent you time. Now you should return it to me." Hearing this, Raymond remembered. In his hurry to catch Will and Sylvia, he hadn't paid attention to his own time. He looked at his watch and saw only 5 seconds were left. The clock dropped to 0 and Raymond was killed. Will and Sylvia were safe, but both of them now had only 1 minute each left. Moreover, in that deserted area, there was no one to help them anymore. Their death seemed certain. Both of them, disheartened, embraced each other. And then Will spotted Raymond's car. Immediately he ran toward it, and upon reaching there, he transferred Raymond's salary time from his watch to Sylvia's. He started running toward her to give her time. Sylvia also ran quickly toward Will. Sylvia had only seconds left. It was exactly the same kind of moment as when Will lost his mother. Will had lost his mother once, but he didn't want to lose Sylvia. She was very close to dying. But then Sylvia fell into Will's arms. Luckily, Will did the right thing. He held Sylvia's hand in time, which saved her life. Thanks to Will and Sylvia, all the people of Dayton became immortal. Now they didn't have to work for hourly wages in factories. They were trying to fulfill all their dreams. Greenwich City's entire system, created by the rich, had failed. With this, the story ends.